management with skin in the game is one thing. Management who've put money in but pay themselves big salaries, do you think they deserve big salaries because they've got a track record, or do you think they need to earn that?
Well, I think
take?
you need to look at their salaries and make a decision on the stage of the project to begin with. So companies have done well and they're at the permitting development stage. You can argue that those CEOs, those management teams deserve higher salaries. So if they're making way too much money compared to their peers, that would raise a red flag. If they're working for less than their peers and they've done well, that tells you that they're probably not running what we call a lifestyle company, where they take fees and salaries out of those companies and do not have success for the average shareholder.
And we've interviewed quite a few CEOs, and we've asked the question, and we get a very generic answer back, which was we pay ourselves the same as everyone else.
One of my common questions among CEOs is, what is your cost basis? How many shares do you own, and what's your overall cost basis? Another question would be, your last equity raise, did you participate? Did you put money? How many shares did you take? What percentage did you take? Did you continue to dilute yourself because you have shares that in total cost you a few pennies, and now you're doing a 50-cent financing or $1 financing? Why didn't you average up? Why didn't you participate?
How do you directors remunerate yourselves?
It's just a mix of the normal. The directors are just on moderate and normal directors' salaries.
From the board perspective, it's very, very similar to what any other sort of junior company. It's a small stipend, not a big cost by any means. And at the end of the day, I mean, you kind of get involved in this space because you like the people that are around you, and you're excited about the prospects to oversee value for shareholders.
Not always. I've seen some fantastic salaries, and the word stipend wouldn't be applied. So
well, not on the board, and you can look up our filings.
Oh yeah, it's all public information for sure. And I always encourage people to.
No one's doing this to get rich.
That's exactly why they're doing it, isn't it?
There's a salary component which is market related, on lower than some, but a fair chalk. Nobody is going to starve in the meantime. And I think you have to have that balance.
The board doesn't get paid. We get options. The option grants are pretty modest.
So no salary. No salary.
Not for the board, no. Myself and the management team that run the company day to day get a salary.
I'm always interested with junior companies when executives pay themselves big salaries but don't take big equity positions instead. In terms of the remuneration, you do see a lot. I mean, how have you guys done that?
That's a good question. Most of us have also gone on to part-time. So we recognize that we need to watch our dollars. We've done what we can, but with keeping an eye on the strategic outcome that we need to have.
And there's two components to the risk-based salary. There's the short-term and long-term. Short-term is really set around delivering metrics. So for myself and for my team at Rox Gold, we're incentivized on a variety of metrics. Safety is first and foremost. Production targets, making sure we hit various milestones in terms of development.
Who sets those?
That's set by the board.
So the board set the targets by which they're remunerated?
No. So the board don't have those sort of targets. This is for the executive team.
And who watches the watchers, as it were?
So the way that we've set this up, I mean, myself and four of the other guys started out 2.5 years ago here. We made the commitment that we were going to invest in the company. So at the time, we put in roughly $2.5 million. So you have your base remuneration, which is fourth quartile. Then you have your own investments, and then you have some long-term incentives that generally are linked more to performance.
Right. A significant part of your wealth is invested in this business. You are directly lying because you're buying in the market. They're not options, and people need to understand that.
Yeah, and probably on a personal level for me, I'm going to say 1/3 to 1/2 of my investable net worth is in this stock.
Right.
Anything that I'm involved in as a manager or a board member, I put my own money in because I believe, why would you get involved in something and expect others to invest in it if you don't yourself? So we take it personally in that sense.
And the information is publicly available. So I always encourage investors to go in and look at the paperwork, see if they're comfortable with it, and see if they think that's a fair distribution of their money.